Even more record breakers be shattering this past week, comic fam. Every single week, Jem and I hit the mic to talk about the hottest comics in the cosmos. But what about these single price record breakers? Well, those land on this list. Hit the like, slap the subscribe, and Jem, hit him with number 10.
You know it's gotta be that Thundercats. Thundercats, ho!
We got a spec tip for the comic fam because not only do members need to broaden their spec search as it pertains to first appearances of characters, they have to consider second appearances, third appearances, character meetups, fights, classic covers, and the last issue in the run.
Oftentimes in comics, that final issue could have the lowest print run because oftentimes it wasn't planned to end, it got canceled due to poor sales.
And then you consider who actually acquired these books back then. Those individuals cared about the run. They wanted to finish it. They wanted to break it open and read it. And by each page that got turned, the grades kept going down. Now we have a last issue of Thundercats spiking, a 9.4 going for $100. Just last year in March is now up 100%, selling for $200.
And Tom, you mentioned a lot of key moments in comics. It's not always about the first appearance. It can also be about the first preview, like what we have at number 9 on the list. Ultimate Fallout issue 3, the teaser page at the end of the issue shows a partial image of Ultimate Fallout 4, specifically Miles Morales from the chest down.
That's right, issue 3 is spiking all because of an advertisement, a real first appearance, if you would. A 9.6 sold back in March of last year for $200. That's up $400 this week, an increase of 200% for a 9.6 selling for $600.
Moving on to number 8, it's no surprise with Book of Boba in full effect and Obi-Wan coming that we have Star Wars issue 2 that hit the Hot 10 runners-up. We're actually talking about the 35-cent price variant, and it's the first appearance of Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Greedo, Mosep, aka Jabba the Hutt, and the Death Star and Millennium Falcon.
So many first appearances in this comic book, and we had a 9.0 Ghost comic come to market. Now, these price variants were the attempts of Marvel to do some market testing to see if the comics could maintain sales with a inflation in price of 5%. And this wasn't tested in states or counties. This was tested in specific cities, making these 35-cent variants essentially non-existent because they're so scarce. We have a 9.0 that we haven't seen come to market, recorded sales online since 2017, selling back then for $3,107, up nearly $650, an increase of 21%, now selling for $3,750. And moving on to number 7 on the list, we have Ditko. ASM villain goodness, a character that had his full story arc complete in the last Spider-Man movie that is still spiking regardless. Single-digit Spidey, Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 6. The first appearance and origin of the Lizard.
I'm actually a little bit surprised to see this on the list. I mean, it's a Silver Age single-digit Spidey key, but are we really going to see much more of the Lizard? Time will tell on that.
We have an 8.0 going for $4,000 back in July, up 20%, an increase of $800, selling for $4,800 this past week.
Moving on to number 6 on the list, we have Macross issue number 1, the first appearance of Robotech.
This is a fun one because this is a key book that a lot of people don't know. They pass on it in dollar bins. They question why it's priced so high on walls. And that's because Macross is Robotech, but in Japan. And this comic book was titled Macross. Thus, members don't know that this is the first appearance of Robotech, and it wouldn't be until issue 2 that the name would switch so that people knew what they were actually getting. Thus, this issue 1 is little known by the community, but a major key nonetheless. We have a 9.8 back in January, selling for $1,050. I suspect that we are still in that nostalgia cycle, justifying an increase of $950, an increase of 90% selling for $2,000 for the first time in comic history.
Moving on to number 5 on the list with Thor Love and Thunder incoming, it makes sense that we're going to start seeing some movement with Thor keys. We have Journey into Mystery 83, but not the original. We have the Golden Records reprint.
This cover does not have the price or issue number on the cover. That's how you can tell that you have a reprint of a comic book. Regardless, when you can't afford that 83, reprints start looking better by the day. Now, we have a 9.8 prior record set back in 2019 selling for $2,500. That's up $1,000 this week, now selling for an increase of 40%, landing at the $3,500 mark.
Now that's a pretty big sale for a reprint, but it's pretty cool that it's a 9.8, and the book only came out 4 years after the original in 1966. It didn't have a price tag on the cover, and it didn't have any advertisements on the inside.
Keep in mind, comic fam, that these 10 books that make our list are part of a much larger list that exceed 25 different record breakers. The runners-up list found on the best comic app in existence, Key Collector Comics, available for iOS and Androids. Get approximate suggested pricing, catalog your comic books, keep up on all the record breakers, and so much more. And support the show by utilizing code TOM101 and unlock a free 2-week subscription of the app in its entirety. Next at the list at number 4, Marvel feature number 1, the first team appearance and origin of the Defenders.
Doctor Strange, The Incredible Hulk, and Submariner. A CGC 3.5 sold for $90 back in August. It's up 78%, now selling for $160. But wait, there was a 9.4 sale as well.
The 9.4 hit 1332 back in November of last year. That's up 80%, over $1,000 increase, and as little as 3 months, now selling for $2,395. Whether it be the reprisal of Charlie Cox, the Marvel Netflix shows that are leaving the app, going somewhere else soon, with Kingpin being reintroduced into the MCU in Hawkeye, Bullseye being restricted from joining the Hit Monkey show and them having to go Lady Bullseye. We have so many characters from the Defenders looking like they're going to be available and starting to be introduced in the MCU again. And with John Bernthal slated, possibly, we're hearing rumors that he may reprise his role in Punisher as early as Armor Wars. It makes these types of team blue chip books more attractive by the day.
I hope we get to see that Punisher War Machine armor hybrid that they had in the comics a few years back.
That's right. Keep an eye out for Punisher 218. That's the first cover and cameo appearance of Punisher in the War Machine armor. Next at the list, at number 3, Thor 165, the comic to get if you're specking Warlock. We have the first cover and first full appearance of him.
There are many cameos and first appearances for him, for Adam Warlock, but like you said, this is the one to own. We have a CGC 9.4, which sold for $6,000 back in May, up 40%, now selling for $8,400.
That's an increase of $2,400, comic fam. The Adam Warlock spec is in high gear, just like number 2 on the list. Fantastic Four issue 13. FF Keys, we have the first appearance of The Watcher. We have early FF. We have an 8.5 that last year in January sold for $3,850. People getting ready for the What If series are feeling really good right now because that is up 108%, an increase of $4,150 this week, landing for the first time in comic history, $8,000.
That's a huge sale, and it's so nice to see these keys continue to have life after the hype, right? After the show, What If is come and gone. Now, there is a Reckoning War Fantastic Four event going on in comics right now, and I guess collectors are holding out that we're going to see Uatu on the big screen.
If you like what we do, hit the like and subscribe. We're doing a 55K milestone giveaway. Invincible number 1, the Tyler Kirkham Omni-Man variant. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about the video. And at the list at number 1, a major record breaker, an increase of over $26,000. We have All-Star Comics number 8.
A huge legacy character, first appearance comic book, the first appearance and origin of Wonder Woman, the first appearance of Hippolyta and Stephen Trevor. A CGC 5.0 came to market, which hasn't sold since 2016 when it sold for $67,500. Well, it's up now 39% with its all-new record-breaking sale of $93,500.
This book is about to hit 100K in mid-grade, and really, does it surprise you? It feels like it's still low. This is the first appearance of Wonder Woman, one of the most important superheroes in history.
DC Keys taking over the list at number 1. Is this a future trend?
Keep in mind, comic fam, the Marvel blue chip books started taking off when the legacy books, the AF-15s, the X-Men 1 started breaking records. Well, when Wonder Woman exceeds a $26,000 gain, I think the DC keys in general have major spec potential, and this is the proof, as always.
Geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. Comic fam, join me on the best new app to buy and sell collectibles, Whatnot, available for both Androids and iOS. Dollar start auctions that last 60, 30, 20 seconds long with vetted sellers. We're gonna ship these comics to you right every single time. There's a ton of giveaways happening on there and so much more. We have 2 other videos for you to check out. Links in the descriptions for everything, including Gem and Collectibles. Go follow him. He's doing some amazing content on his channel every single day. And have a great week.